Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Brendan Goodger, General Manager of Primary Community Care on the Central and Eastern Sydney Primary Health Network. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn GP Connect, how GP Connect can support residential aged care. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of this nation. We acknowledge the traditional custodians and sovereign people of the land across which we work. We recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging, and I extend that to any Aboriginal colleagues who might be joining us here today. You will note today that you can submit some questions to us, and there's a Q&A button below, so please type your questions in the Q&A box, and the chat button for today is disabled, but we're happy to take questions via the Q&A box, and we'll be monitoring them. There'll also be some time at the end for us to have some live questions, so we'll do that. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and will be available on the Central Eastern Sydney PHN YouTube channel. Yes, we've got a YouTube channel within the next couple of days. And at the end of the webinar, stay on a little bit longer because we've got an evaluation survey that'll pop up on your screens. We really do appreciate your feedback. Please complete this to allow us to issue your certificates of attendance. And I've mentioned about putting your questions on the Q&A. And again, we've got some time today to go through those questions. Firstly, what I would like to introduce to you is a very important person, Tripali Patel, who's our nurse practitioner in aged care. Now, Tripali is a really highly experienced nurse practitioner with over 10 years working in aged care. Throughout her career, she has held a range of positions within aged care facilities, including, I didn't know this, Director of Nursing, and brings a really strong understanding of the requirements of the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. Tripali now works as a nurse practitioner with GP Connect and is really passionate about palliative care. Tripali works with 4Health, who's our commission provider to deliver this new service. Tripali, I wonder if I can ask you a quick question before we start today, which is, given your experience, why did you decide to work as a nurse practitioner in aged care?
I've been working in aged care. I've done different roles, including assistant in nursing, RN, ACFI coordinator, care manager, and director of nursing. So what I saw through the last role I worked, I saw there were so many issues, and I met with a nurse practitioner at my facility where I worked last, and I saw how amazing the gaps were attended to when we are not able to get a GP in straight away. So he inspired me to do this nurse practitioner role, and then I did grad certificate in gerontology. Like, it was a bit of a journey, and it was hard. It was not easy doing a full-time role as a director of nursing because it is a big responsibility looking after a facility. So I did that, and then I went on to my master's studies, and then I saw I had my mentors. I had few mentors as a nurse practitioner. I had 2 palliative care mentors, and then I could see when I was doing my placements, I could see how much value we can add into aged care facilities where Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission is changing standards every few years, and how much we can assist the nurses, how much we can assist the residents and their families as well. So yeah, here I am doing the nurse practitioner role in aged care facilities, and it was good for Health Group to give me this opportunity to be involved in this new project. So, and I have always liked taking new opportunities and learning new things. So I think, yeah, this is a good platform for me to start. Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like we're very, very lucky to have you. So
thank you.
Thank you. And as you said, it's all about the residents. That's what we're all here for. I would also like to acknowledge residential aged care staff who really are the quiet backbone of our health care system. You guys show up every day to do work that is skilled, demanding, and deeply human. You provide far more you provide far more than just clinical care and daily support. What you do is you offer dignity, you offer patience, you offer safety and companionship, often in moments when residents and families are at their most vulnerable. Your consistency, your compassion builds trust, your attention to small details protects well-being, and your compassion turns a facility into a home in a setting where emotional load can be heavy and the pace unrelenting. All of you continue to lead with kindness and professionalism. So I just wanted to highlight and express to you my gratefulness for the care and respect and humanity you bring to older people every single day. It's not an easy job that you guys have, and so I thank you, right? And I just want to acknowledge your contributions that go towards helping and supporting older people. Now, today we've got some learning outcomes. We hope that a role here is to try and understand the role and the scope of the GP Connect Nurse Practitioner, to identify when and how to refer to GP Connect, to recognise how GP Connect can improve care timeliness and support and continuity with GPs, and to also understand the documentation, but also the communication processes between GP Connect Nurse Practitioner and the aged care home and the resident's usual GP. So it's around communication processes, right? That's what we hope that you guys get out of this today. And really, GP Connect is a brand new service, and we really need your help to make it a success. Now, I'll tell you the problem we're trying to solve or trying to address, right? I do a lot of work with residential aged care homes, and so do my staff. And what they tell us, what you tell us consistently, is that GP availability is increasingly challenging, particularly after hours. During leave, illness, or workforce shortages, GPs can get sick, right? They want to take leave sometimes, right? And it's also really challenging for GPs who work in really smaller practices, solo practices, right? And where it's kind of hard for them to leave their own practice. So that's why the GP availability is often challenging, and it's getting more so. And of course, when a GP is unavailable, staff face some pretty high-risk, tough decisions. Do you just escalate to ED just in case? Or do you delay care and hope that the issue resolves? You're placed in a really difficult position if you can't get access to a skilled primary care practitioner like a GP, but also like someone like Chapali. And you've heard her experience today, years of experience, and now a qualified nurse practitioner in aged care. How lucky are we to have you, Chapali? That's the experience, that's the problem that we're trying to address today. Now, when we have those gaps, what they do is they directly contribute to hospital transfers, right? So what we want to try and do is avoid those hospital transfers so much. It also contributes to staff stress and burnout, and also poor resident and family experience. We know how upset when families can't get their loved ones access to a GP. And of course, these gaps also contribute directly to fragmented continuity of care. So what we want to try and do is address those gaps. Okay? We want to try and help you manage that situation more. It's about us providing you with more support, not getting in your way, actually to make your life easier, right? So what is GP Connect? Well, at one level, it's pretty simple. It's what you've been asking for. It's what you've been telling us you've needed for some years. GP Connect is a nurse practitioner-led clinical support for up to 8 weeks for residents who do not have an existing GP relationship. Okay? And it's free. Can I just say, maybe we should have put that in neon lights, so to speak, but it's free, all right? And GP Connect will also help match residents to a regular GP with a clear clinical handover to ensure that continuity of care beyond that initial support phase that Japali and our GPs on this program will provide. The residential aged care home nurse support through triage and clinical advice where a resident's regular GP is not available in a clinically appropriate time frame. And that's really some of the gaps and also some of the opportunities to be able to better use Japali, who is an expert at nurse practitioner in aged care. So this service, let's be clear around this, right? It's really important for you guys to understand the next few points. Because again, what we want to try and really do is help you. This service is available for residents who do not have a regular GP and who need short-term GP support and or support from Japali as a nurse practitioner during admission to a residential aged care home. It might be if they're coming from either the community and they don't have a regular GP, or they're coming from a hospital or even from a rehabilitation unit. So it's that short-term arrangement where there's not a regular GP. Because we know that getting GPs in residential aged care is becoming more difficult. The service is also available for residents who need to find to be matched to a new GP. I've got a team who are also helping Japali and her team find new GPs. The service is also available for residents who do have a regular GP, but that regular GP is unable to provide ongoing care. And that could be because they're unwell themselves. Maybe they're taking a long holiday. They're taking a break. And again, they have a regular GP who's on leave, and the usual deputising service is not available. So it's really when we can't find, we guys don't get access to, the resident doesn't have access to a regular GP in a timely manner. Now, what we're going to be doing is empowering you to be able to make that decision. Because we trust you. We respect you. So the referral can be triggered by residential aged care staff, staff in the local health districts, and also by GPs. Okay, so GPs can also refer into the service as well. So, but we're empowering you to be able to make that referral, okay? Because you know your residents. You know if they've got a regular GP. You know if they need timely care, okay? What the nurse practitioner, and again, we're so lucky having Japali, she's one of you, if I can say that. It provides semi-urgent clinical assessments. So around concern for acute deterioration, again, what you do is you contact the geriatric outreach teams. But if you've got concerns around infection, falls, wounds, pain or behavioural changes, someone's had a slip or a trip or a fall, and you're not quite sure, right? Then again, if they don't have a regular GP, then people like Japali can assist you in your clinical decision making around referrals, right? End-of-life symptom management is also a key role for Japali as well, if there's not that regular GP. This next slide is really important. We're lucky having a nurse practitioner because nurse practitioners can prescribe. They can prescribe, adjust and manage medications. Okay, they can do that. They have the autonomy and the authority to be able to do that, to prescribe, adjust and manage medications, obviously within scope, but nurse practitioners have a pretty wide scope. They can, again, assist in that interim prescribing when GP access is delayed. They can do medication reviews aligned with the existing care plans, and they can help minimise medication-related transfers. Okay? Really, really important issues. This next point is also, I think you'll find useful. They can support clinical decision-making on site, right? They can guide residential aged care nurses through assessment and escalation. All right? We realise that everyone's got a role to play. RACH nurses certainly have a fantastic role to play, but sometimes you need to dial up a mate, dial a friend. Chipali hopefully will become that friend in which Chipali can assist you to guide you through that assessment and escalation. It's also about reducing default to emergency department decisions that is driven by uncertainty. So if you're not sure, because some things are not clear, right? You need to dial up a friend, you need to dial up someone, then you can dial up Chipali. And it's trying to help manage that uncertainty and have a mate on the line who can help you with that uncertainty. It also, I think, and really importantly, it provides reassurance to staff and GPs. To staff and families, all right? Also to GPs as well, but it provides reassurance to staff and families that they know that something is being done, that the concerns of their mother or father or relative is being escalated to someone appropriately qualified, like Chipali. The nurse practitioner can also be involved in managing continuity of care. And it's about Chipali and the nurse practitioner can communicate with the resident's usual GP, talk the lingo that GPs talk, that nurses talk, right? The language, that care language that's special for you guys. So she can communicate with the resident's usual GP. She can be involved in really clear documentation to support that handover, right? So that's really important so the GP feels confident in the clinical information that's being handed over. And also I think it's really important here to ensure that care aligns with the existing goals of care for that patient, right? I think that's really important. This is person-centered care. And so part of Chipali's role is to make sure that any care that's delivered is aligned with the existing goals of care, such as, for example, things around advanced care directives and things like that, and respecting people's wishes, end-of-life decisions. Now, this role is about building trust between residential aged care and GPs. So we're really clear around that, right? But we also recognise too that this model is not a replacement GP service. There are some things that Chipali can do, other things she cannot do, but she can do an awful lot, all right? It's also not a 24/7 emergency service, right? For that, you've got to contact O or the local district geriatric outreach team that our PHN also funds, right? So it's not 24/7. Occasionally, Chipali's got to sleep, right? So it's not that, right? But there are other services that we fund that can assist you with that. And again, you've also got O or the outreach teams that we fund. But really what GP Connect is about, it's about a targeted, high-skill bridging role focused to try and address those care gaps where the person doesn't have a regular GP. Okay? It's kind of that simple, right? And we've deliberately gone with a provider that's got really high skill levels like Chipali. Okay? We've got someone who's independently authorised in terms of medications, right? Someone who's got really high level of clinical decision-making skills. That's what we've gone for. Now, just to follow up on that point, the reason why we were so keen to get a nurse practitioner, because nurse practitioners, as you all know, right? You know what the fantastic work that nurses do, but what a nurse practitioner adds a bit more to that. They can work autonomously and within scope. They know their boundaries, but they can work autonomously. They're pretty good at navigating clinical and system complexity around the different services. They've got a knowledge of all the different service systems out there. They're also able to, particularly for Chipali's background, being a former director of nursing, can build trusty with RAC staff. Once you get to know her, you'll love her, right? And so you'll get to trust her clinical judgment, all right? And that's what you need. You need someone that you can trust, right? Both as a human being, but also as someone for her clinical decision skills. And it's also coming back to delivering person-centered care. All of this is around making sure the care needs of the resident up front and centre. And I'd also say too, it's also about being able to work across those different kinds of care settings, primary care and residential aged care. Now, Japali is mobile, so to speak, in terms of is able to travel between different residential aged care homes and is able to support GP solutions that address tight workforce supply. Again, you know, we're open to referrals. Can I make that big plug today, right? Japali's got a bit of capacity. We want more referrals, right? Bring it on. Literally standing by the phone, waiting your phone call, all right? And I'll tell you how to do that in a second, all right? But we've got some capacity. And by the way, when she gets really busy, then we'll add more resources. We believe in the service. We believe in Japali. We believe in our nurse practitioner-led model of care. So if we have to, and Japali gets really super, super busy, we'll look at adding more resources. I want Japali to be busy in a way. No disrespect, Japali, but I want you to be busy because then we can add a few more resources onto it, right? Because it means we're meeting patient need. The key benefits, well, I kind of already said this, colleagues. It's around rapid access to GP services for new residents without a GP. Again, the service also provides a GP as well. It's around active matching for residents to a permanent GP in consultation with the residents, the carers, and of course the facilities. It's around on-site, and I'll repeat this, on-site. Japali actually goes and visits people at the bedside, right? In where they're living, in the aged care home. And also can be done via telehealth as well. It's around that decision support. You're calling up a mate, calling up a colleague, and getting that advice. And also supporting interim management. It's also about supporting that communication back to the resident's usual GP so they know what's happened, right? That continuity of care. And the last point, what we're all here for now, it all comes back to residents. It's that simple. It all comes back to them trying to get improved health outcomes for residents who we know are requiring more complex care in residential aged care. Other benefits? Well, kind of mentioned some of this, which is we want to try and be a sort of a trusted clinical extender, right? So it can extend that and really build on your set and hopefully also upskill using Japali's experience, also upskill residential aged care home skills as well, right? So hopefully everyone wins. The patient wins, but also residential aged care staff also be upskilled by someone like a nurse practitioner, right? We can all learn, right? Now, this is the referral flow chart. Look, I'm not going to go through this. We're going to send you out a bit of a simplified version of this, if that's all right. But you can see the different steps in terms of referral flow chart. We'll make this real simple. We'll tidy it up. We'll make sure it's prettied up. Who doesn't love a good flow chart? But we'll make it a bit simpler on that. So you know exactly what the process is for escalation, right? And so we'll send that out within a couple of days after this presentation. My team are just working on that now, right? So we're just tidying that up so it looks smick or looks neat and tidy, right? And you can always put it beside your phones or put it somewhere really at your workstations, right? Now, I thought I'd just touch on the difference between Japali's role and also the LHD outreach triage role. Their purpose is around rapid clinical advice and triage, some of that behavioural cognitive type input. Often it's around hospital avoidance support and also assistance in some of those escalation pathways. Now, the outreach team may well refer back to Japali. Can I say that to you? So the outreach team might take the phone call and refer back to Japali, and I think that wouldn't be a bad outcome. But they also might say, look, we actually need to get a specialist geriatrician out or a specialist nurse out. So they can do that, right? So a couple of different options. We've been working really closely with the outreach teams. And can I say to you, they are really supportive of the service. They want the service to succeed. They're kind of relying on us to succeed, right? So we're close mates with them. We're close friends with them. We fund them. So we've got a really good partnership. Again, this is about trying to provide a nurse practitioner-led triage and clinical advice for the standard GP care, the sort of care that would happen anyway if you had a GP, but you don't in some cases, which is why you're calling into Jipali. It's also support determining where the issue is within nurse practitioner's scope, and Jipali can assess that, all right? So if you make a phone call, you can talk to Jipali and go, and Jipali might say, no, here's the best way to do it, but at least you can give her a call, have a bit of a chat, and then take the referral from there or not. It's okay to have a chat, right? Also, Jipali can provide guidance for safe interim management, also advice on whether GP, local health district, or ED pathways are more appropriate. And that's the beauty, can I say to you, of having someone like Jipali who can provide that clinical advice. And again, we've already mentioned this. Again, support for new residents without a GP. We're actually trying to find a GP for up to 8 weeks. And it's free, right? It's free. Not a bad deal. So this new service will communicate really clearly with the resident's usual GP, right? Document clearly for residential aged care staff. Ensure care aligns with the existing goals. We've already said that. Okay. Now, and this will become of no surprise to you guys, and I feel like I'm telling you how to do your job, but so please forgive me on that and show me some kindness, please, because I have deep respect for aged care nurses. But it's the sort of things you guys would do anyway, which is, so when you make a referral, it's obviously provide details around identifying the resident's details and baseline health status, provide a description of the situation in terms of current clinical issues, obviously the issues around vital signs and observations, the things that you do anyway, any relevant or past history, yep, you'd be doing that. And the current goals of care and such, and obviously including reference to advanced care directives. And any current things you're trying at the moment clinically, right? So the current intervention that you're trying, right? Okay. Again, I know you guys are doing this, it's just simply a bit of a reminder. Now, a little bit about us, all right? We're a primary health network. Some of you may know me through COVID days when I was out there supporting your facilities, right? We did a lot of work with that, right? But our role is, again, it's not just simply about funding the service. We actually really care about residential aged care, can I tell you? Really care about residents. So yes, we provide the funding, but it's more than that. Our role is also around system coordination. We really want to try and make a difference. So for us, it's around hosting and governing the model, working with Jipali and her team from Full Health. We've also been assisting in developing up clear clinical and communication protocols to make sure things are really clear, and also trying to work with you guys to facilitate those relationships. Now, look, I would really welcome any of you to post in the chat saying who of you can be a bit of a champion for GP Connect within your facility. I would love that, right? Because we want to know who's out there who's willing to support us, right, in establishing this new service. And when you're establishing a new service, you need your champions. So today I ask you, can all of you help me? Help me by being champions of the service, because we're going to need you, right? This model will also align it with the hospital avoidance strategies. My health records, really important. And again, we're really working closely with residential aged care homes to really support the take-up of My Health and also various other aged care initiatives. We're doing a lot of work in the area of aged care, and we've got more to come. We are also working to ensure this model is collaborative, because we like working with you guys, genuinely do. We respect you. We want it to be collaborative. We want it to be safe, but we also want it to make a difference. We want it to improve the lives of residents, right? but we also want to make your life a bit easier as well. In terms of some of the really complex decision making sometimes that you have to do, sometimes it's great to be able to call up a mate, or to make a referral to get that extra support on site, knowing that when you make a referral, that Chapali will be there, right? And or that we'll get a GP as well, right? So we can do those things. But when you ask us to do something, we would do it. We would do it. Now, what's outside the scope? Obviously, really acute deterioration, really unstable vital signs, obviously mental health emergencies, really complex diagnostic needs. Some of those more high-risk infections, and I won't comment on that, you guys know what I'm referring to. New or really complicated palliative care needs, or if there's, importantly, hospital-level care required. So this service really does aim to provide, if you like, GP standard level of care, right? And that's really what we're aiming for this, where there's not a regular GP. For lots of different reasons that we've spoken about. GP might be unwell, you actually can't find a GP, or the GP might be on leave, right? Or you've had a resident in hospital, and they're due to return, but your GP says, I'm unwell, or I can't take them, or my books are full, right? Because things change, right? Now, the question that you're all sort of waiting for, ba-boom, it's at the end, all right?
Yeah.
Which is, how do you access the service? If there's the phone number, write it down. We're going to send it out to you. Carol on our aged care team is going to send all this information out to you. You can email at gbconnect@4health. You can book online. How it makes it easy for you guys. And the opening hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, excluding public holidays, right? But there are a number of ways in which you can book the service. So we've tried to make it really easy. And again, if we've got really strong demand, then watch this space, because we really want to support the service. Okay. Now, we're coming up to close to now. I'm just going to check the chat in the Q&A and see if there's any questions. So now's the time to post. And what I might do is, hang on. So we're going to send out these flyers to you and this information to you, all right? We've already sent some out to you, but we're going to send them out to you again. So what I would ask you to do is to see if there's any questions in the chat. But while we wait for, now look, don't be shy, by the way. No point in being shy around this, all right? But I've got a couple of questions for Japali to start us off, right? Because you obviously need a first bidder at some of these things, right? So if you like, in a real estate sense in Sydney, I'm a first bidder, right? While we wait for some questions on, I do want to see a couple of questions come in, guys. Right? This is a brand new service that we're starting. We're really trying to respond to your needs in relation to this, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop my, there we go. Hey, the technology is working, everyone. It's extraordinary, right? So I've got a question for you, Japali, which is just thinking about the services just launched. Do you have a couple of cases you could outline about where you've been able to help a residential aged care home? What sort of things have you been called for, and how have you been able to make a bit of a difference so far?
Into three facilities so far. Mainly they were for new admissions. Residents coming from hospitals, and then they wanted to admit where there were no GP. I had few referrals for facilities where their GP is on leave, and then there were a few minor changes to medications. Example, S8 medications were expiring, and then GP were on leave. They wanted to re-prescribe. So that was attended to. There were few. It's case by case, like it's a different. Only this service started on 8th of December, and it started slow and few referrals, mainly for new admissions, and some small changes to medications or few issues of referrals, just like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I want people to post in the chat. Do you think the service? Give me a thumbs up. Post in the service, post in the chat if you think you're looking forward to the service. And I hope to see a few thumbs up go in there. So don't be shy in all of this, all right? Now, in terms of GPs, um, 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 oh, hang on. I think the question has come through, which is, um, uh, Chipali, a question for you is, how can we use the service for an admission for a resident into our service when a GP is not available?
Yeah. As we said, there is an email or you can call, email, and then there is a referral form. I'll send it through to you. You'll fill out that form. And usually I'll make a time. Initially, I will do telehealth just for stable to see how the resident is coming from hospital or from the community. I can admit the resident, and then I can come and see. I can come on site and then do my initial visit at the facility. And then for you guys to start giving out medication and have everything on your system, mostly all the residential aged care facilities use electronic medication systems. So I send through to them my prescriber number, and you just put me into your system, and then I can chart the medication as per the discharge summary or their online or their, if they're coming from community, their health summary. So I can chart that one. In the meantime, I come and visit the facility. That's all sorted into your system.
Okay. Now, let's imagine that Chipali goes and does her consultation. Now, Chipali, can you just remind me again, please? You do it on site, but you can also do it virtually. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
How does that work, mate? Have you got the technology there?
We have telehealth consultation. So we send a video link to the facilities, and then we book in a time with the aged care facility RN or the care manager there. And then we would book a time and then do a telehealth consultation. I send a progress note after the review, or if they would like me to do it into their system, I just get, usually the facilities I have got referral, they give me access to their system remotely, to the medication system and their clinical software, and then I usually document there whatever the review has happened.
Right. And will you also support the residential aged care home staff to have discussions with family as well?
Yes.
All right. Because I can imagine there are some matters that are quite sensitive. The families might want a discussion with their families, right?
Yes, we would. I would do that as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And of course, as part of that, Chipali would do that, I think, with the residential aged care home staff, respecting them as well, right? So, and involved in those discussions, right? Okay. Now, after you've done the admission, and I think, I mean, I don't want to ask myself my own question here, but I think what's going to happen is that after the admission papers have been completed, one of the big requests we get is to try and locate GPs for residential aged care homes. So Chipali and my team, I want to acknowledge Jason Phillips, who's our manager in aged care, and also Carol Tran, a wonderful project officer in aged care. They're sort of lurking behind the scenes, and so what they'll be trying to do is also to try and find GPs as well, to try and provide that ongoing care. All right. So one of the good things about this is having Chipali going in, doing that initial assessment, and then if you can't find a regular GP, then obviously we've got some people behind the scenes who are going to be trying to help you find a GP and working with your facility. Now, we've got another question coming through in the chat. Thank you very much for the questions. I do appreciate them. Now, if GP Connect does the initial admission with the nurse practitioner, how does the service then try and match with a permanent GP, right? So, Chapali, jump in for that. If not, I can get Jason to address that. But Chapali, have a go.
Yeah, I think I would let Jason talk about it.
Jump in, Jason. Or do you want me to, Jason? I can probably answer that if you want me to, right? But come off mute, big fella.
Here I am. Thanks,
Hey,
Brendan.
welcome,
Yeah,
Jason.
look, I think what we have done is we've been in contact with all our GPs in our region that are working in aged care facilities, and we've put a short survey to our GPs, asking them if they're keen to build their resident load. So we now have a list of GPs that have advised us that they're willing to be contacted. So that would be our first port of call in terms of the way in which we're going to go about matching.
Okay. Now, Jason, while you're there, mate, I've got a question for you, right? So Jason manages our aged care portfolio, right? But Jason, does this service go across the entire region, our entire PHN region? Because we look after both local health districts. Does this service go across both of our local health districts?
Yeah, it's a region-wide service. We've got roughly 150 homes in our catchment, and the service is available to all 150 homes. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty impressive. We're going to offer this service to all of our 150 residential aged care homes. So, Japali, I think there's a high chance you're going to be pretty busy. You've been to 3 aged care homes so far. We're hoping that number will increase, right? So, again, Japali's got capacity. And can I say to you, it's probably good getting in first, if you can. And let's really try and build up that workload, because she's got capacity now. I don't know what your workload's going to be like in 4 or 5 months' time, but we'll have to look at more resources. But at the moment, you've got capacity. So if you do have referrals to make, then please, I encourage you all to start making those referrals. All right? Okay. And Jason, we've also been briefing up various GPs as well, and the GPs are very supportive of this model, aren't they?
Yeah, look, I mean, in terms of putting the model together, there was some co-design sort of points taken on board from different discussions. Yeah.
Yeah, the GP's been really supportive of it, and I've been involved in some of those discussions. So they're really supportive, and we're making sure that the GPs who go to residential aged care facilities are kept informed about what we're doing. All right, we have deep respect for those GPs, so we're making sure that we keep them informed, and they've been, I have to say to you, been fantastic in our consultations. Right, they want the service to succeed. Right, they want the service out there. They can see a real need for it. And when I also speak to residential aged care homes, they tell me the same thing, that your trial guys are having trouble getting access to GPs. Well, guess what? This is why this service is available for, right? Now, we've got about 2 minutes to go, right? And maybe some of you are doing this webinar on your lunchtime. So we are going to stick to 1:45, but you've got about a minute or so to go to ask any last minute questions, all right? Okay. Because what we are going to be doing is sending out some more communication, thanks to Carol, is going to send out some more flyers and information around how you can make those referrals. Now, I'm just wondering actually whether Carol, what you maybe could do is post in the referral how to make a referral into the chat, perhaps. All right. If you can do that, post in the phone number about how they can contact Japali. Now, Genevieve, someone else has asked a question, which is, Japali, can you order MRIs, do death certificates and restricted drugs permission from Canberra?
No, I can't do that certificates. I can do MRIs, but we have to see. We have a GP along with us. if that is being billed, because with our scope, if it's being billed more to the residents, would get our GP to do the referral for that resident. But that can work out as a team. But yeah, no, can't do that certificate.
Okay. But nonetheless, what you could do is liaise with the GP to make sure that certificate's
Yes.
done in a timely manner,
Yes.
and also provide that background information. So I think your role is still needed as part of that process. And I think there's a nice facilitation collaboration role that I think the GP would really appreciate in actually doing that.
Because I have a GP where I work with here at GP Connect, and if something's within out of my scope, I'll get back to her, and then probably that's if a care is required for a resident, then that's how it would be.
So I think that's really important. We might just spend a little bit on this. I know we're slightly out of time, but Chapali is also supported by a really senior GP, aren't you? Do you want to say a little bit more around that?
Yes. So I have a GP here at for health. Like if there is some things which are out of my scope, go to her for an advice, or if there is any anywhere I get stuck, or any referrals where, as I said, if I am not able to do, or if I can do, and if the patient is charged more, I would go to her, and then the GP would do it for me. For example, EPCs as well, because it doesn't come under our scope. So I will go back to the GP, and she will do it. I'll provide the history. I'll give a good background of the resident, and then she will be helping me with sorting out those issues.
And it's also possible too that Chapali, what you might do is say that you want that GP to also go to do the visit, right? So it's also possible for that GP to do the visit as well, if really required. But the two of you would collaborate on that and work that out. That's also part of the model. All right. Now look, we're coming up here to 1:47. We're 2 minutes over. All right. Can I express my deep appreciation once again for the work that you all do? Thank you to Chapali for the care that you provide and for your expertise. Obviously, thanks to my team, but I also want to thank all of you for doing this webinar, for helping make GP Connect a success, because I think there's a real need for the service. We're backing it. It's here to stay. We think this is going to be a really important, be able to play a really important contribution to supporting the health and well-being of older people in residential aged care. We think there's much that can be done through this service, and really supporting that continuity of care where there's not a regular GP. So thank you for that. We'll draw this to a close. Can you stay online and do a short evaluation? Would really appreciate that. Stay tuned for the communications that Carol will be sending out from my team. Stay tuned, and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody. Thank you, and thanks for the work that you do.